An annual Walk for Suicide Awareness that's held in honor of Suicide Prevention Month was held today. The Mid-Ohio Valley Out of the Darkness Walk and Pause for Prevention took place in Parkersburg City Park. The walk raises awareness and raises money for research on suicide prevention and education, according to the walk chairman, Kathy McGee. This is the biggest turnout the walk has had, according to Jeannie Goff, who helps with the walk. The walk allows people to come together and support each other in their journeys, according to McGee. She says it's important to have this walk in Parkersburg to show the community suicide awareness and that it's okay to be not okay.
It's important to me, for my personal self, is after my twin sister died in 2018, I thought I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to tell people that she died by suicide, and I felt alone. I came to the first walk that year, and just being around like-minded people still have it in their grief, and like I could look at them and could talk about suicide. I shouldn't be ashamed, and I shouldn't have been embarrassed that chose to do this. So now I live on and continue doing these walks to keep her memory alive, to know her family doesn't have to experience the grief and the severe pain that causes family.
McGee says she hopes the walk will grow even more next year. The 35th annual Volcano Days Festival brought out hundreds of people to Mountwood Park in Walker, West